and our next talk is the self-anti-censorship nature of encryption on the prevalence of anamorphic cryptography. Yeah, so as well as asking questions on Zulip, you can also upvote other people's questions. So if we need to prioritize, that's how we'll do it. So check on Zulip as well. Thank you. Over to you.
Okay. Thank you very much. I'm Giuseppe Persiano, and I'm going to present this joint work about anamorphic encryption. It's joint work with Mirek Kultilowski, Yupan, Moti Jung, and Marcin Zawada from various places like Poland, the US, and France. Okay, so this is about privacy, and I think I'm in the right place here. And privacy is a human right. It made it to the human right, the UN Human Rights Declaration. And as cryptographers and in general people interested in privacy, we're very proud of our achievement about end-to-end encryption. For example, we have the Signal protocol in the app. Most of us use it, and but the story doesn't end there, because cryptography makes an assumption, which most of the times we just assume and we don't think about. And this assumption is something very obvious, that, like if you encrypt something, that gets protected only with respect to someone that doesn't have the decryption key. This is something trivial. And actually, the unspoken about, the unsaid assumption here, it's this receiver privacy, that the actual decryption key is kept in a safe place, it's hidden. So, why is this a problem? Yeah, we already have all sorts of assumptions, one-way functions, and so on. So maybe we should just rewrite our theorem and saying, assume that there exists a one-way function, and that the receiver privacy assumption actually holds. Then we have secure symmetric encryption schemes. So we just have two assumptions, right? So if we are good with this, why we are not good with that? Actually, there is a big difference conceptually between the two assumptions. The first assumption, the existence of one-way function, comes from something, from our current scientific understanding of the reality we live in. We believe that there are one-way functions. And if that's true, this is enforced by reality, by nature. If it's not true, if it might be false, then it will be false for everybody. If there are no one-way functions, then it's not that someone will have one-way function, someone will not have one-way functions, okay? Instead, the receiver privacy is a norm. It's different from I don't know if this is the correct technical term. I'll try to explain what I mean. It's enforced by political structure. And as such, it can be changed by law, and by decree, by force, and it could change for some, but not for all. So this is well explained in this beautiful XKCD cartoon. So this is the world we think we live in. Oh my God, this is RSA, 2048 bits. It's going to take forever to decrypt. Actually, 4096. This is the world we actually live. If someone comes, it's going to hit us on the head, or maybe our children, until we reveal the password. Okay, and then there is no actual security about that. So, yeah, you might be invited in a dictatorship to just surrender your key. And that's not only in dictatorships, because maybe we'll think, oh, good, we live in a democracy. No, actually, there have been attempts on both sides of the Atlantic Oceans about this. One is, from '96, almost, 30 years ago, and this is more recent, when David Cameron was Prime Minister of the UK. And you see there is some sort of uneasiness of the political power with respect to encryption and the strength of encryption. And these are only two statements, but we know that there are several of these attempts. These are called the crypto wars sometimes. Okay, So how can we fix this? Of course, like the first thing that comes to mind is, oh, let's design a new scheme that we can prove secure without making the receiver privacy assumption, whatever that means. You know, if you think a little bit about this is not going to work. Like, because if I come up now, you know, someone comes up, oh, I have a new encryption scheme, and you know, this will work despite, you know, the receiver privacy assumption being true or false, okay? And what is the dictator going to be? The first thing is going to be is going to read, you know, PET's proceedings, find out about this, and then you say, okay, this is going to be unlawful. You cannot use it, and if you use it, you have something to hide, or you are going to provoke a reaction. You know, we know how the story goes. So the only hope that we see, we should look at some existing scheme, okay, and try to use it in an undetectable way to our purposes. And that's what we'll do, and existing schemes will not be ruled out because there is, you know, the dictator wants to be a dictator of a rich country, of something that produces, you know, encryption is important in an advanced society. You can make an argument about it. But okay, so this is the anamorphic encryption, which was put forth by Pan and Jung and myself last year in Eurocrypt 22. So this is more or less what we were thinking back then. So the dictator thinks that he is in this classical scenario. There is one public key, there is one secret key, and there is one ciphertext. And you know, one ciphertext, one public key, one secret key, that means there is one message. And if I get a secret key, I'll get a message. That's what the dictator thinks. Then we think, oh, maybe we can dream of something else. There is one public key, there is one ciphertext, but there are two plain texts. Why there are two plain texts? Because there are two secret keys. And then this ciphertext is anamorphic in the sense that depending on which key you use to look at the ciphertext, you get one of two messages. You know, but all of these to work must be indistinguishable from the first bullet, okay? So that the dictator thinks that, oh, he's using this. Also, there is only one secret key, so I give him the secret key, but I don't give him the second secret key because I can deny that there exists such a key. Actually, when I came here to the room this morning, you know, to see what, and then I saw there is an anamorphic here. When you go down the stairs, there is an anamorphic object. There is an anamorphic picture. Like, you know, this. If you look at it from up the stairs, you see something, and if you look it from down the stairs, you will see something else. That's an anamorphic. And okay, so good. Okay, so this is a sign. I don't know, like what it means. Like, okay, I'm in this room. I walked up, and that's anamorphic. Okay, good. So previous work, we had a Eurocrypt paper where we show essentially that every scheme can be made anamorphic, every existing scheme can be made even non-existing, with low rate, you know, logarithmic in the security parameter. And then we had one example, the Naor-Jung example, which, admittedly, it's not something that we use every day. And but you know, this was good because the anamorphic message was a length polynomial in the security parameter. Okay, so there was some hope. So what do we do here now? We refine the notion. We present two notions that's in the paper, a single receiver, a multi-receiver, and then we give evidence of the prevalence of this concept. That this concept is not something that, you know, it's a bizarre phenomenon induced by Naor-Jung, right? It's something that is it's in an encryption. And you'll see how. And then, in fact, we can prove that RSA OAP, Goldwasser, Mikari, Payer, Gamar, Kramer-Schlup, whatever you have from smooth projective hash function, they are all efficiently anamorphic. In this talk, in the remaining few minutes that I have, I'll try to convince you that I can make that RSA is actually RSA OAP is actually anamorphic. I'll give you the idea of what is single and multi-receiver, and then you should be convinced that RSA is multi-receiver. Okay. So in concrete terms, what is an anamorphic? So it's two schemes. There is one scheme, E. Think of E as RSA or AP. And then there is the anamorphic triplet. If you see, the anamorphic triplet is key generation, encryption, and decryption. And they should be indistinguishable in some very specific technical term from the dictator that has the secret key. So this is an example of how you make RSA or AP into an anamorphic. Okay, so that's KG, ENC, and DEC. That's RSA or AP. I think we all know all of this. So we have an anamorphic triplet. What is the anamorphic triplet going to do? I need my glasses. So the anamorphic key generation just outputs an anamorphic public key. That's just an RSA. Okay. And then an RSA secret key and a double key. Okay? And then the encryption takes two messages. The real message, the standard, the regular message, and the anamorphic message. And then this anamorphic message, ciphertext, depending on whether you use DEC or ADEC, will give you different things. Let's see how we do this. These slides are for offline use. This is the notion. Here. This is the anamorphic triplet. So I use an encryption scheme that has pseudo-random ciphertext. Then what I do, then there must be some randomness in RSA or AP or in CPA secure scheme. So instead of using fresh randomness, I'll use a ciphertext of this encryption scheme, a secondary encryption scheme that has pseudo-random ciphertext. And then I embed this ciphertext as randomness of the real ciphertext. So this is RSA or AP. This is a description. So just think of, the real message is, oh, tonight we're going to have pizza. Then it should be encrypted with picking R at random and so on. And then instead, what do? I don't pick R at random. I take an encryption scheme with pseudo-random ciphertext, okay? And then encrypt. Tonight we're going to meet in this place to discuss politics, okay? Whatever. Then I encrypt and I get R. R is pseudo-random, and then I use that. When the dictator asks me for my RSA or AP key, I just give an RSA or AP key, and then it's going to read message. Oh, we're going to have pizza. Oh, good, guys. Good. While instead, if you have also the key from R, you can decrypt R and see where is the meeting place. Okay, so that's more or less the idea. And these are the conclusions. So what we can do, what we prove in this theorem, in this paper, is that anamorphic encryption is actually fairly practical. It might not be the final solution, it might not be a big chunk of the solution, but something that can be used because it's practical, it has a good bandwidth, and you can use it with schemes that are being used right now. And just to give you, for your offline viewing, these are some papers. That's the extended version of this paper. This is the original paper, and there is an upcoming paper where we look at signatures.
Okay, thanks, Igor. Okay, thank you. Great, questions coming in. First question, will the anamorphic message outputted be a realistic, believable message that will trick the dictator? If not, it could be that the dictator realizes the person has something to hide.
Yeah, like for example, let's take our RSA OAP here. So the anamorphic message is hidden into R, and the ciphertext that carries the anamorphic message is pseudorandom. So if you just have the RSA OAP secret key, you just get R and the message, let's go and have pizza tonight, and R that will look completely random. Also, if the dictator says, oh, there must be some anamorphic key, then you say, no, this is RSA-OEP, because it's an RSA-OEP keys, if you look at the that I've been using for 10 years. And then at one point, some of the messages, without modifying the public key or the secret key, for some of the message, I do this for R. So, cannot do.
Yeah, thanks. Next question. What if the dictator mandates client-side surveillance of user devices? Someone powerful enough to ban an encryption scheme is probably powerful enough to control what software people run and mandate spyware, which can then see that people are using anamorphic encryption and see the other key.
That's why I said this is not the final. Of course, like, if he gives me a state on cell phones, which I don't know what software runs, we are doomed, okay? There's nothing we can do, like, don't come to me, right?
And what are your next steps in this direction? Are you planning on doing anything with tools from this paper?
Doing means different things to different people. For me, doing is just, writing papers and see that they are practical. And that's what I do. For example, we are looking at signatures, and we are very happy of what happened with signatures. And we hope that this will come into the debate, and maybe will be seen as as a tool of potential use. Or maybe someone will say, oh, that doesn't work because of that. We just want to contribute to the discussion.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if people are interested in building something, then you know who to talk to. Okay, I think that's all the time we've got for questions. So let's thank the speaker again.
Thank you very much.